What is motivational interviewing? Motivational interviewing is a collaborative style of counselling that seeks to explore a client's goals while addressing any resistance or ambivalence they might have. It's a directed approach, it's focused and goal oriented rather than being imposing or influential, which is a style we might see in non directive or more traditional therapy. So, how do we use motivational interviewing? Well, for the next few minutes, I'm going to share some of the strategies and techniques used in motivational interviewing, as well as provide some examples of the kind of language a practitioner might use. I'll explore this in the context of health and well-being as we seek to encourage a client to develop a long-term commitment to exercise and better health choices. At the very beginning, a client leads a sedentary life with ambivalence towards exercise and really no concern for making healthy life choices. The ultimate goal for both the practitioner and the client is to create a changed mindset that takes us from the current sedentary lifestyle to one that includes exercise and better health choices. So there's several defined stages that help the practitioner apply the guiding principles of motivational interviewing, encouraging collaboration with the client to change a current lifestyle to one that includes exercise. The first of these stages is the pre-contemplation stage. The client is not engaged, they're not exercising, and they're pretty ambivalent about things. Now, the practitioner would raise the client's perception, or would try and raise the client's perception of the benefits of exercise and the risks of poor health choices. The second stage is a contemplation stage. The client is not yet engaged, but they're thinking about it. They're weighing up the pros and cons and addressing their ambivalence. They're identifying reasons to change, as well as the risks of not doing anything. The third stage is the preparation stage. Goals are being set, steps are being taken, they're getting ready to start. The fourth action stage is just that. Things have started, but they've been going for less than about 6 months. The final stage is maintenance. They've adopted and stuck to an exercise and health program for more than 6 months. So I mentioned before the guiding principles of motivational interviewing. What are they? A useful acronym to help remember the principles is RULE, or R-U-L-E. I'll explain how that works. The R stands for resist the righting reflex. Now, it can be difficult to resist the urge to tell a client what to do. That is, it can be really, really easy to succumb to the urge to express what we know, to show how smart we are. When we're speaking to a client, through experience, it's not hard to ascertain what needs to happen, but for a client, it's more difficult. An experienced practitioner of motivational interviewing will lead the client on a path of discovery. The U stands for understand the client's own motivation. What makes them tick? By openly discussing and exploring what excites your client, you're better able to help them explore an outcome that benefits them the most, fulfills their needs and satisfies their goals. L stands for listen. You listen with empathy. We've got to accept the client knows themselves better than anybody else, and they'll be more willing to share their feelings, their hopes, their fears much more readily in the presence of someone who's empathetic. And finally, E. The E stands for empower. That is, empower the client. A collaborative relationship that explores the client's ideas about, improving their own health, drawing on their intrinsic knowledge and placing them firmly in the driver's seat of their journey. So knowing the guiding principles is simply the beginning. How do we apply these principles in a practical way? Another useful acronym to remember is OARS, or OARS. An easy way to remember the practical methods. O stands for open-ended questions. Now, open-ended questions are the questions that seek a thoughtful answer rather than a simple yes or no. An open question leads a client down a path of inquiry that allows a practitioner to better explore their mindset or where a client is at. An example of an open-ended question pertaining to our scenario might be, I understand you have concerns about starting this exercise program. Can you share them with me? And that's much better than a simple, are you concerned about exercising? The A stands for affirmation. Affirmations are validations of the effort that the client is displaying. For example, one might say, you know what, I admire the enthusiasm you're putting into this plan. Or, you know what, I appreciate this is going to be challenging, but I believe you can succeed. There's small positive statements that can help overcome negative thoughts. The R stands for reflective listening. Now, reflective listening acknowledges and reinforces the collaboration that's happening between the practitioner and the client. After listening to the client, the practitioner might reflect. So I know you like to take it easy, enjoy your chilled lifestyle, but you also understand you're starting to see and feel some negative changes like weight gain and tiredness. It shows the client that you're invested and respectful of what they're saying, what they're telling you. Finally, the S stands for summary reflection. Summary reflection is simply revisiting and simplifying what has been discussed. After talking to a client, listening to their concerns and gaining insight into their mindset, a practitioner might offer something like, okay, let me just take a look at what we've covered so far. You've noticed some health issues creeping in and recognise that you'll benefit from adopting a health and exercise program. But previously it seemed difficult to start and there's been some uncertainty about where to begin. Is that about right? So those are some really useful and practical methods to engage in motivational interviewing. Putting it all together is what we can refer to as the spirit of motivational interviewing. It's a collaboration between a practitioner and a client rather than a confrontation. Goals are explored and discussed, and decisions are made together. We need to evoke intrinsic motivation from the client, inspiring the desire to change by drawing it out of them rather than imposing it on them. Autonomy. By respecting the autonomy of the client, we ensure that they are the master of their destiny. And treating the client with compassion, maintaining the understanding that implementing change can be challenging, respecting that different barriers exist for different people, and promoting a non-judgmental relationship that strives for continued improvement. So to summarise, we've looked at the benefits of motivational interviewing as a way to collaborate with a client in order to effect positive change. We've explored the stages of change and the guiding principles, as well as applying some practical methods. Lastly, we looked at the spirit of motivational interviewing, the collaborative relationship between client and practitioner, and the way we can inspire the otherwise uninspired. Thank you for listening.